Okay, I want to look at how did things go with Biden and the Communist Party in Vietnam. Now, I guess he's trying to make the alliance a stronger alliance with Vietnam against China, Russia, etc. So, what happened with that? Biden, Vietnam. It's about partnership. Okay, so it looks like the cards are listening again. This is our topic. What happened with them behind the scenes with forging a partnership? In the past, we've had new actions, so they started to put this in place in the past. What's going on now, it's again a work in progress with forging an alliance with Vietnam. The challenge is holding on, okay? I think this has to do with their back and forth about who's going to do what, etc. And it's about, again, the message being put out about what they're holding to, what they're expecting, etc. Above it, we have talking about the action. They were talking about the actions, going into it, the power, holding on to power, and the challenge is feeling a bit beleaguered with things, okay? So I think this has to do with security and things like that. Underneath of it, there were investigations looking deeper into things, going into it. So I think this has to do with the maybe Democratic versus Communist, or also could be looking at Biden, etc., versus the Communist regime or against China. And the foundation, the foundation of this is feeling a bit out in the cold, a little beleaguered, holding on, the message. Now, this could be the challenge is against China and Russia, okay, trying to hold on. And it could be Biden on top, and then underneath of it could be Vietnam, the leader of Vietnam. I don't know what's the name of the leader of Vietnam now. But it looks like they've had this starting talks and things in the past, still working on it. They're looking diving deeper into it, and the situation of being out in the cold, the drama going on, the message about holding on and buffeting. And I think this has to do with China and Russia there. So we have what's being sold, the merchant, about who gets what, the payoffs, about coming together, an alliance, and about this strong man. I think this has to do with the ideals and other things that they're talking about. They're looking at the manipulations and the darker agendas of those that are attempting to abuse powers, and looking at an offering, okay, of light, shedding light, and some wanting to see some retreat going forward rapidly because of the mental pain and drama that's happening, okay? And then we have feeling tied up, and the judgment when it comes to tower moments, and strengthening an alliance, okay, against what? The wheel turning. So it looks like they are having these talks about strengthening an alliance between America and Vietnam against China and Russia, etc. So let's break this down. So what we have in the daily grind, what's going on, grounded actions, we have being worked on, what's being held to, about being out in the cold when it comes to China, Russia, etc., and what's being offered. Okay, payoffs as to what is being offered. Okay, so they're working out the details, the nitty-gritty of all of this stuff. Next we have the mental. Let's go to the mental realm. This is about the talks, ideology of the about the strongmen, about that, their abuses of power, about retreating, getting them to retreat, because we have the dark mental pain and being tied up, feeling tied up. Now, I think a part of this has to do with just the way that they are doing things in the world when it comes to ideology with China and Russia. Okay, so next we'll have the emotional thing. So this is what is being offered, what's being sold, about coming together, and again the offerings being made. Okay, so let's look at the action. He went there, and they're talking about action going forward between what? Above it we have America, and this could be either the alliance with Vietnam or they're working against the China thing. We have the new action about, being beleaguered, the difficulties, and what is coming rapidly on the world stage. Now we get to the nitty-gritty of it all. Okay? It's about the partnership. Investigating, looking deeper, looking at the manipulations and the darker agenda, shedding light on the judgment, at looking at possible tower moments and strengthening the alliance because the wheel is turning. Now, I think I want to pull a card on and look at the woman. Let's get some clarification. Is this Vietnam or is this China and Russia? What is that card about? I want to look at some clarification on that. A little more clarification on that. So who is that? What is that about? The woman in power. Is that China? Is that Russia? Is that Vietnam? Going into it, it's about holding on to what they have, going forward. Okay. Between the woman and holding, it's about an alliance coming together. Supportive, trying to figure the way forward, looking towards an alliance, okay, with America. So this has to be with the benefits of Vietnam. This has got to be about Vietnam and America, because again, above it we have the woman, and underneath of it we have the men. So this is about Vietnam, okay, and the alliance and what benefit they would get from it. Again, thinking about the action, and it's looking towards the alliance, okay, and cooperation, and we have that moving forward. Let's see what we have above it. About some losses, perhaps, the abuses of power, and arguments, okay? So it's about protection. It's about forming an alliance against the abuses of China and they want to forge more of an alliance with Vietnam. So that's interesting. Let's do some 3 cards and look and see what else it has to say on this front. At the center, we have democracy. Could also be Biden, but let's see. Working on this, trying to build this up for a victory, okay? So we don't need any clarification of that. They're trying to, again, build an alliance. Let's pick 3 more and see what we have. At the center, we have the ideals. The strong, or is this strong man? Let's see. It's about the world situation. And the challenge is pushing it to the edge. So I think this is about the strong men, about that ideology of democracy versus this type of authoritarian. Yeah, because we have the world, we have democracy, or we have the authoritarian regime. They want to push that back. Of course, democracy is looking to have them retreat, but they are trying to retreat democracy. And this is a bit of the nightmare scenario going on. A bit of worry, mental worry about democracy on the world stage, and the attempts by the strongmen to push it to the edge and to make it retreat. Let's see what we have above it. So working on and looking at the seeds that these ones are planting, not liking the harvest because they continue to try to tie things up. Now we see on the world stage that the communists and the Russians are doing all they can to aid 45, aid that type of scenario. They are infiltrating a lot of things when it comes to technology, etc. And so that is also a concern and a worry that they are addressing. So on that note, I'm going to leave this here. But I'm interested, and maybe I'll try to do a poll about what's the difference between, because both of them are communist nations, of China versus Vietnam. So what's the difference in the ideology, because they're both communist countries. So on that note, I think I'll do that next. I'm going to pull cards on China versus Vietnam and their differences in ideology, because I have no idea. I just know they're both communist countries. So on that note, I'll leave that here, and we'll see you online.